Hey, it's been a while. Let's talk Endfield. When you crossbreed a gacha game with Factorio, you get a player base that starts metagaming not only in terms of character pools, gear builds and team compositions, but also factories' production lines. On top of the game itself giving you an option to share your blueprints with friends, there are even websites with a ton of blueprints to recreate in your bases. I'm here to tell you that you can throw them all into trash can where they belong, and taking Valley 4 as an example, I'm going to show all the calculations to explain why. Let's begin with maximizing the usage of the mineral yield. From all the resource nodes, you can get 18 outputs worth of originium, 8 outputs of amethyst and 36 of ferrium. Note that I'm only counting outputs that can be fully loaded here, so those unaccounted 20 units of originium per minute are not included, nor they are important, as you will see later. This allows to set up 3 production lines for high-capacity batteries, 3 lines for A-grade consumables, and 4 lines for C-grade ones. The last ones are actually 2 lines in my case, but each makes 2 items at a time, so I count it as 4 separate lines. Those who are looking at the screen right now might notice the amount of free space I have in my outposts. Mind you, I am producing all the things I mentioned, and I still can plug in something else. Maybe I can grow plants here and transfer them to Wuling. Sidetracked. Point is, there is more than enough space in your bases to plug everything in to get the items you might need. Sure, you have to place the facilities strategically, but it's perfectly fine if they are not as tightly packed as they could be. I know mine aren't. But is all this even necessary? Let's now talk about the possible earnings with all the produce we get. The factory gives off 1080 A-grades per hour and the same amount of batteries. However, I use 5 thermal banks to power things up, which consume 450 batteries per hour, so I'm left with 630. And there are 1440 C-grade cans per hour. Multiplying those numbers by their respective prices and adding them up, we get 134,100 Valley bills worth of items per hour. But let's pretend you're more wasteful than I am. Maybe you use 1 more thermal bank, one of your lines for batteries is only working at half speed because you make ferric or steel parts, and you spend half of your amethysts on crystal components. Adjusting the calculations in this manner, that leaves you with only 108,000 bills per hour. Is it enough though? If you assign the proper operators as liaisons and complete all base defenses, the outposts in Valley 4 earn a total of 119,532 bills per hour, approximately. And those 108,000 you produce in a wasteful mode? By swapping operators before selling, that increases to 129,600. You can have a considerably suboptimal factory in Valley 4, and you will still be able to suck every outpost dry. When I talked about this with one of my friends, I compared the blueprint metagaming with beating a single-player game while looking at a walkthrough. Sure, you've beaten the game, but all the mental work it could have taken is gone. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to optimize your factories, but I am saying that figuring out what works and what doesn't is a part of the gameplay, and not getting the best outcome doesn't mean missing out. It will be interesting to see if it holds true for Wuling, but for now I'll see myself off.